Hey, what's up? What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Bass Trending Gist, where we break down the stories that everyone is talking about. Today, we are diving into a very and controversial clip from activist and politician Omoyele Sowore. He was speaking about the legacy of the former President Muhammadu Buhari, who just passed yesterday in a London hospital. And let me tell you, he did not hold back. Sowore speaks about the end of Buhari's presidency and what he considers the death of Nigeria under his leadership. It is a very harsh political critique, not a literal statement. Let's watch what Sowore has to say. Brace yourself, sit back and take a watch.
It's very sad that we are even having a conversation about mourning a person who left this country broken, did everything he could, everything Buhari touched, he destroyed. He destroyed human rights, he destroyed the economy, he destroyed the dignity of person, he destroyed the social cohesion of the nation known as Nigeria. And I'm not one of the persons who was out there pretending that I miss him. I don't miss him. I was also one of his personal victims, and this is a time to really commiserate and show empathy to his victims from when he was a soldier, someone who participated in killing of people in the southeast for 30 months during what is now known as the Nigerian Civil War. When he was a military head of state, he violated human rights. He extrajudicially killed some young people who they accused of carrying drugs. When he came back the second time, you know his story. Yes, killings of Shiites, killings of people in southern Kaduna, the killings of NSAS protesters in Lagos, killings for the second time of southeastern young people who were branded as IPOB, the destruction of Nigerian economy, the destruction of the healthcare system to the point that he himself had to die in a clinic in London because they didn't care about building anything here in Nigeria, which is the country they govern. So it's been a terrible legacy, and I'm not one of the people who want to be politically correct because I see a lot of politicians falling over themselves trying to pen tributes to Buhari as if Buhari was the best thing to happen to Nigeria since the invention of peanut butter. He wasn't, and that's the truth. And I've also seen some of his victims, poor kids in Kano jubilating on the street. I've seen people with bullhorn announcing his death quite derisively. So it's, for me, on a personal level, Buhari was responsible for the death of my younger brother. Buhari violated my rights. Buhari is responsible for why my mom had stroke since 5 years ago. So I said those on the personal level, but this is not personal vendetta.
Wow, no mising words here at all. Sowore came with a flamethrower. Let's break this down for our critical take. First, the core of Sowore's argument is a complete and total rejection of what he calls political correctness, while many political figures, even opponents, will offer diplomatic or softened critics when a leader leaves office. Sowore is doing exact opposite. He is refusing to mourn the end of a tenure he believes was catastrophic. He lists his charges: economic ruins, human rights abuses, destruction of national unity, and a collapsed health system. Secondly, and this is crucial to understand his perspective, he frames his entire argument through the lens of victimhood, both national and personal. He calls himself a personal victim, and you can't ignore the context. The Buhari administration arrested Sowore, detained him over 100 days, and restricted his movement for years under the banner of his hashtag Revolution Now movement. To be honest with you, if you can remember, for that 8 years Buhari was in power, Sowore insi shege. Buhari dealt with him. He was arrested. Even there was a time he was arrested inside the court. From court to court, they would just arrest him. They seized his passport. He couldn't travel out to go and visit his family in the US. He no get breathing space. So I can understand the angle Sowore is coming with all this his rants. I would like call it rant. I don't know if I'm correct to use that word rant, but no matter what, person we don't buy, make it go. You don't go. Your life, you is still alive. So what matters now is the legacy you yourself is living on earth. That is the major thing that matters. So when he mentions the tragic death of his younger brother and his mother's health, he is directly linking his family's pain to the states of insecurity and stress he blames on Buhari's government. For him, this isn't just politics, it is deeply, deeply personal. Third, Sowore is tapping into a very real and widespread sentiment. While his language is probably the harshest you will hear, the feelings of disappointment, anger, and hardship are shared by millions of Nigerians. When he talks about politicians falling over themselves to write tributes, he is creating a clear divide, the political elite versus the suffering masses. He is positioning himself as the voice for those who feel that the last 8 years have been devastating for them and for whom any talk of positive legacy rings hollow. So, is he right? Well, he is presenting one side of every complex story. Supporters of Buhari would point to infrastructure projects like the Second Niger Bridge or the rail lines. They might talk about agricultural program or a perceived fight against corruption. But Sowore's argument is that those things are meaningless when weighed against widespread insecurity, record-breaking debt, hyperinflation that has crushed the common man, and the deep ethnic and religious divisions that festered under his watch. He is essentially saying, what good is a new bridge if the people who are meant to use it are poor, unsafe, and their human rights are not respected? So, what we have here is a raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal condemnation of a political legacy. It's a perspective born from personal suffering and a rejection of a diplomatic niceties. And that's the real gist. But I want to know what you think. Is Omoyele Sowore speaking the hard truths that many are afraid to say? Or is his personal history making his critique too biased and harsh? Was the Buhari presidency a total disaster? Are there positives that Sowore and others are deliberately ignoring? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a respectful and intelligent conversation about this. I will give my own perspective. When I see your own, perspective, I will add my own and we'll have a conversation about it. I'm not going to say what I have in mind here. You understand? Drop your own first. We'll spark up a conversation in the comment section. And as always, if you've got value from this breakdown, please hit that like button, subscribe to Obas Trending Gist, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.